Hello, this is Bob Diamond, and on behalf of myself, my brother Ed Diamond, and all of us at Diamond Law Center, I want to welcome you to our special report, the Foreclosure Auction Blueprint. In case you're not very familiar with us, let me give you a little more background on Ed and I. My name is Bob Diamond. I'm an attorney. I've been an attorney since 1993, and I've been a real estate investor since 1989. So I've been investing for actually longer than I've been an attorney. My practice area in law is, of course, real estate law. And I do all kinds of transactions, everything from residential to commercial transactions. The way you can identify me is by my sleek haircut. That's right, the sleek shaved head, that's me, Bob Diamond. My brother Ed Diamond, who's on the right looking at the picture, is an MBA. He's a brilliant guy. He's been in business for over 25 years, been investing for over 20 years. And he's done everything from managing commercial buildings to managing single-family houses. And actually his first place that he lived in was a duplex where he lived on the bottom half, rented the top half, and had that pay for his mortgage costs. So we both have a lot of experience in real estate and a lot to offer. I personally started in foreclosure investing in 1989. And since then, between Ed and I, we've completed over $100 million in real estate transactions of all kinds, not just foreclosures, but all kinds, as either the principal in the deal, the attorney, the agent, the manager, or in some capacity. So we have a lot of experience. And now we spend our time both investing, we're still very active investors today, and also teaching others how to invest. And that's, of course, what we're here to talk to you about today. That is the tidal wave of opportunity in foreclosures. Since 2007, the United States has experienced an unprecedented number of foreclosures. In a typical year, prior to 2007, there were approximately 800,000 foreclosures a year. But since 2007, there have been 2 to 3 times as many foreclosures as so-called normal, and that tidal wave of foreclosures is expected to continue. Those large number of foreclosures present a tidal wave of opportunity for you to buy properties at deep discounts to live in, to rent out, or to fix and flip for immediate profits. It's an absolute tidal wave of opportunity all across the country. As you can see from the image, foreclosures are everywhere. The way that this chart works, the darker the color, the more foreclosures there are in that state. You can see every state has foreclosures. So no matter where you are, from Oregon to Maine, from Florida to Montana, from Ohio to Arizona, there are foreclosures for you to buy. It's a terrific buying opportunity that's just absolutely enormous today. Since we're going to be working in foreclosures, let's talk about the fundamentals of operating in the mortgage foreclosure niche. There are 3 stages to foreclosure. There's pre-foreclosure, auction, and the post-foreclosure or REO stage. You can buy at any of the stages of foreclosure, but how you buy and who you buy from is going to change depending which stage you're at. Pre-foreclosure is where you buy from the homeowner. At auction, you buy from the auctioneer. And at the REO stage, which is after the auction, you buy directly from the bank who's already foreclosed. So that would lead to the next question: when should you buy your foreclosure? There are opportunities to buy at all stages of the process. In the pre-foreclosure stage, you can negotiate terms, price, and you can have your home inspections, but you unfortunately have to deal with short sales and homeowners who want to stay in their home. There are terrific buys in pre-foreclosures, but again, you have to typically deal with the bank and the homeowner that wants to stay in their home, so that's the downside to that. At the foreclosure auction, which is what we're mostly here to talk about today, you can get great prices. Best prices really come at the auction, but you can't get conventional financing and you can't have inspections, and I'll explain how to deal with that as this training progresses today. At the REO stage, which is the 3rd stage after the bank is foreclosed and has become the owner of the property, you get lots of selection. There are plenty of REOs around. You get conventional financing and inspections, but unfortunately the pricing is not as good. You're going to pay more at the REO stage. So let's talk more about the auction stage. At the auction, the way that it works is you're going to get your list of properties advertised for auction. You're going to drive by each property that you're interested in to determine occupancy, condition, and market appeal, meaning is it a place that would resell or rent easily, and also the value of the property. You're going to do a title search to verify that it's a first lien that's foreclosing, and then you're going to calculate your maximum bid, you're going to line up your cash, and you're going to go ahead and bid at auction. We've developed a flow chart to make this really easy to understand, so let's go ahead and take a look at the flow chart. So we start by doing our due diligence and our preparation. First, we get the list of properties to be auctioned. Next, we drive by those properties in the areas that you're interested in investing, and we check to see if the property is occupied or if it's vacant. Obviously more attractive if it's a vacant property, otherwise you're going to have to deal with an owner or an occupant of the property. Next, you're going to have to inspect for condition and estimate repairs. Now, there's no open house where they give you an inspection. There's no opportunity to have a home inspector through. The best you're going to be able to do is go up to the house, knock on the door to see if someone's there. That'll help you determine occupancy. And if no one's there, at least take a peek in the windows to see what the condition is. It's my experience that the condition on the outside and the condition on the inside are very similar. So if it looks ratty on the outside, it's probably ratty on the inside. If it looks good on the outside, it's probably pretty good on the inside. That being said, you do have to be conservative, meaning always estimate high for repairs, always assume there are a lot of repairs that are needed, because once you buy the property, it's yours, and you're going to have to make sure you account for potential repairs. So some of the ways that people handle this are they just buy newer properties, or they just buy properties that look better on the outside, or they just look at properties that, or they bid on properties that they've seen the inside of, either through the windows or because an owner let them in. Just because a property is listed for foreclosure auction does not give you legal permission to go inside it. Going inside is trespassing, so I can't advise you to do that, but you can take a look in the windows and see what you see. Next, we're going to estimate the retail value of the property and calculate your maximum bid using our flipper and rental spreadsheets they got with our course. You estimate the retail value using the publicly available tools like Zillow, which is going to give you some recent sales, the MLS if you have access to that. And also you're going to estimate the retail value of the property by looking at other properties that are listed in the neighborhood and assuming that those listing prices are about 6% higher than the sale price. And that'll help you zero in on the approximate value of the property. And again, we're always going to estimate conservatively, meaning if we're estimating values, we estimate low. If we estimate repairs, we estimate high. And that way, even though you have some risk because you can't see the inside of the property, you have a much better chance of it working out because you're always being conservative. Next, we're going to order a title search and verify that a first lien is foreclosing. We want to make sure that it's a first lien that's foreclosing because it's then going to wipe out any second and third mortgages. But you do need to order a title search and go through that and make sure you understand what liens are going to be divested and which ones aren't. And next, what we're going to do is verify the lender's bid, meaning how much the lender is going to bid, or so what that's sometimes called is the upset price. And that's the minimum amount that the lender is going to bid. Let me correct that. It's the maximum amount the lender is going to bid. It's the minimum amount that you have to bid in order to win the property at the sale. Then you evaluate if that foreclosing lender's bid is more than your maximum bid, which we've already calculated. If the foreclosing lender is going to bid more than the maximum you would pay, then skip this one. Don't bid. Wait for the property to become an REO, meaning it will go through the foreclosure auction. It will then become owned by the lender, and then you can approach them as an REO property. If the foreclosing lender's maximum bid is less than your maximum bid, though, then we're going to move forward to the auction, and we're going to plan on bidding on this property at auction. So what we're going to do for that process is we're going to contact the attorney or the trustee to verify the lender's bid amount, and we're going to check the rules of auction. We're going to show up with the bid calculated and our deposit ready to go. Now, I mentioned the flipper and rental spreadsheets a little bit earlier, and those are spreadsheets that are included with all of our courses, and they're going to calculate for you whether the deal is going to be a profitable deal or not. If for some reason you're watching this training and you don't have any of our courses, then you can contact support and ask them about getting one of our courses so you can get those tools. Otherwise, you're going to have to just figure out the calculation on your own, but it is important that you calculate it. Don't go to the auction not having decided your bid. I watch people do this, and it's a mistake where they decide how much they're going to bid once they're in the heat of the auction. Don't do that. Decide ahead of time. Be professional. Decide what you're going to bid and just bid that. And you also probably noticed that I mentioned contacting the attorney or trustee to verify the lender's bid amount twice. The reason I do that is that you need to check with the attorney or trustee the day prior to the auction, as well as back earlier in time, because sometimes they change their minimum bid pursuant to instructions from the mortgage company that's foreclosing just prior to the auction. So you do need to be ready to adjust your strategy and to decide whether you're going to go after a property even the day before the auction. So that's the foreclosure investing flowchart. A logical question that everybody asks at this point is, where do you get the cash? Some people, of course, have their own money. They may have a home equity line of credit or savings. If you have that, then use it because it's going to be your least expensive source of money. If you don't have your own money, then you're going to need a money partner or you're going to need a hard money lender. A money partner, of course, being a person that puts up the money for your purchases, and a hard money lender is a lender that lends for real estate investment based on the value of the property. Our hard money lender list is a great resource for funding. It comes with many of our courses, so you should have a copy, but if not, if your course did not come with a copy, just contact support@diamondlawcenter.com to buy a copy of one of our courses that does include the hard money lenders list, because the hard money lenders are often going to be the source to pay for your great buys at auction. It's important that you do the calculations before you go to an auction so you know how much you can pay for a property. So I want you to use the tools that we've already given you, and that's our flipper and rental spreadsheets. These are included with all of our main courses: commercial wholesale, probate, buying out of bankruptcy, etc. On the left is the small image of the flipper spreadsheet. On the right is the small image of the rental spreadsheet. Very important that you do your calculations so that you can go in and bid with confidence. So make sure you use those spreadsheets. They're with all of our larger courses, so whichever one you have, just take a look on your disk or go up in your member center and you can download a copy of those. Those are extremely powerful and valuable, as well as simple to use calculators that you simply have to use. I want to show you a really neat insider trick right now. Is it okay if I do that? If you're working auctions that have something called a redemption period, then you can purchase liens or contact homeowners and actually redeem the property. One investor I know using this very strategy got 300 properties. What a redemption period means that after the foreclosure auction, the owner or one of the lien holders is able to go and purchase the property away from the person that bought it. And what they need to do is pay off the existing liens, and then they can have the property. You can also assign those rights. If you contact a lien holder or you contact a property owner, they can assign the right to redeem the property. This essentially allows you to snatch a property out from under the foreclosing lender or from another bidder at the sale. It is really, really cool. So if someone gets a great deal and you're in a redemption state, you can actually make their great deal your great deal. As I mentioned, all auctions do not have redemption periods, but we went ahead and did some research to check if you're in a state that does have redemption periods. So our research indicates that the states shown down here, and I'll just point them out to you just to make sure you're not going to miss them: Alabama, Colorado, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Maine, Michigan, Minnesota, New Mexico, North Dakota, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, Utah, Vermont, and Wyoming all have auctions that have redemption periods. Now, of course, you're going to have to check on the particular auction you're talking about because it can vary between mortgage foreclosure auctions versus tax foreclosure auctions. But the research that I did indicates that each of these states have auctions with redemption rights. So definitely go check that out. This is a cool trick that took me years to figure out. That's one of the values of learning from someone who's been doing this for years, is they get these neat insider tricks. One of the people that I know that used this one trick got 300 properties using it, became very, very wealthy. So it's a really cool insider trick. And speaking of learning more and doing more, if you want more information on foreclosure investing at all three phases, we have a course that teaches buying at all three stages of foreclosure: pre-foreclosure, auction, and REO. It's called our Buying Out of Foreclosure and Bankruptcy course. For your copy, contact support@diamondlawcenter.com. It's an absolutely fantastic course that you're absolutely going to love. Let's talk about what's up next. There's more to come. You are going to attend the community calls and read the newsletter and help you grow in real estate and be successful. If you're not a member of our community and somehow you got a copy of this from a friend or some other way, then go to diamondlawcenter.net/diamond members, and you can go ahead and get registered so that you can get our community calls and listen to the community calls, ask your questions, and grow in real estate, and you can get the newsletter with all the latest in information. So this is Bob Diamond on behalf of myself, my brother Ed Diamond, and all of us at Diamond Law Center. We appreciate your business. We thank you for being here for this training, and we wish you the best of luck with investing. We look forward to working with you and helping you on to success. So this is Bob Diamond. Bye for now.